Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lone Camper, and today I'm going to show you guys how to fix the exterior portion of your camper. So the fiberglasses come away from the aluminum framing, as you can see, and I am having to replace it. So supplies you're going to need for this is a drill, hammer, 1 1/4 inch screws, a jigsaw, table saw, 1 by 2 by 8s, a Kreg, the epoxy and hardener. I'll get into which specific one I used here in a little bit. Gloves, mask, a brush, a stir, something to scrape with, and something to put the epoxy and hardener in. So the first thing I did was started building the big overall frame. As you can see, I am installing that big square right there. Yeah, I'm just kind of going around and measuring, cutting, and once I cut, I individually go back and put the pieces in, drill it, screw it in, so that way for the next piece, it's lined up, it's fit for the with all the other pieces I made. Did a little bit different. I had to start on the inside, and well, as you can see here now, I'm about to grind off some screws right here. But anyways, I did this a little different. I tried to build the frame on the inside, as there were some slanted and angled pieces, so that messed me up a little bit. So of course, the first thing I did was measure and cut everything. Measure and cut everything, that's pretty self-explanatory. I can say right now the 1 by 2 by 8s are too wide to fit perfectly in that aluminum frame. The aluminum frame is about 1 inch wide, so I'm gonna have to, narrow that up a bit. Unfortunately, during this part, I also forgot the Kreg. So I couldn't, fit everything in the frame. Here right now in the blue shirt, what I'm doing is just basically the same thing I just said. I'm going and cutting all those pieces, getting them to not the width, not the length, but the width, the correct width. All right, because these were 1.5 inches, and the aluminum frame is about 1 inch in size, so, had to cut all the pieces. All the pieces you were seeing is both the frame and kind of all the structural parts of the frame. I go in and put in some middle pieces just so when I put pressure on the outside, it doesn't, snap or cave in. Anyways, once I got all the pieces cut, I then, in this same video, started Kregging. Now, Kregging is, yep, there it is, that blue tool right there. All I do is just stick a bit in there. And what it does, it drills a hole into the wood at an angle, so I'm no longer having to awkwardly drill a bit into 2 pieces of wood that are a 90-degree angle just to get 1 or 2 nails in there. I can have some screws in there, and because it's going down at an angle, that frame is going to be a little bit sturdier. And finally, for the last stuff, the last part is all the fun stuff. So right here, as you can see, I got a little bit ahead, forgot to record for a few days, so I'm using a different frame. It's a smaller frame, but of course, everything still applies. Right now, I am going in with the bit and just drilling the wood and the metal, so I can start putting some screws in there. I am not bolting or screwing down anything yet. This is just to get it into the wood, so when I do put the hardener and epoxy on, I can just snatch off the gloves and quickly, drill everything in there, and then I can, put pressure on the outside, just make everything as quick and smooth as possible. So what I am doing right here, just showing you kind of the frame, how I did it real quick, but the main purpose is to sand it very quickly. It's really not to get it smooth, it's actually more to kind of rough everything up, just so that epoxy and hardener will soak into that that flat wooden paneling a little bit better. And so right here, I'm just showing you everything I have, which is, mask, gloves, the West system, marine system, or excuse me, what's it called? Marine West System epoxy and hardener. So the epoxy I think is like 105. It's standard. But the hardener I used was 206, or the slow hardener. I found that one to be the best, as it has about 30 minutes of pot life, or 30 minutes of working time. And the when it dries, the tensile strength is better than the fast burner. So personally, I like the slow burner. Again, the number 206, slow hardener 206. Is the best adhesive I found for this. But anyways, yeah, you're gonna need gloves, mask, bucket, epoxy, brush, and stir. So what I'm doing right here, I found putting on some hardener and epoxy on the wall first, and then also putting it on the frame itself. So you kind of have 2 layers of epoxy on it. I found that to be the best, as it soaks into both parts, and when it sticks together, it's not like 2 separate walls of epoxy coming together. It like molds into one, so it's thicker and it soaks into both. So I found that to be the best, as it's much sturdier when dried. So once I get this on, I'm just going to simply drill everything in, make sure it's bolted down, and then as quickly as I can, go to the outside and start putting pressure from the outside on that frame. And you kind of saw a little bit earlier, but I have already drew out where I need, or where that frame is going to be from the outside. So that way it just, like I said, just makes it easier for when I am trying to put pressure on this in as quick of a manner as I can. All right. So once all that's complete, I'm just going to go here. Yeah, I quickly show you how it looks very quickly, and go to the outside and start putting pressure on that epoxy. So when putting pressure on, I found putting on some type of wood, and then putting the ratchets on really helps put an even amount of pressure across the RV. I'm about to show you here in a second. But yeah, because this one's so small, I really didn't need to mess with any 2x4s. I could just kind of put the ratchet clamps, or ratchet bars, whatever they're called, in places where I needed it, and put pressure on it. And it was small enough to where I didn't really need any 2x4s to help even out the pressure. It was already kind of how I needed it. So I just needed one for that slant right there. You can, yeah, right there. You can see me putting it up right now. Yeah, just putting some pressure on it, making sure that epoxy is going to stick to that paneling. But yeah, that's it. It's overall, this is a very simple process. It's tedious because, you know, you got to cut, measure, cut again sometimes, measure again sometimes, drill, all that good stuff. But it's really not, you know, mentally too challenging. So far, I have found this to be the best way of replacing, like, you know, your wall, the inside of your walls if they're rotten out, or stuff like that. If your fiberglass exterior is still on your RV, but it's, you know, just kind of peeling away, I would say this is the best way I have found to do it. So if anyone else is having these type of problems, I really hope this video helps. Maybe you'll get something out of it, maybe you won't. And if anyone else is dealing with this, good luck, because this is a fucking kick in the dick, man. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you found this useful, please let me know, or leave a like or something, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.